Hey guys, I wanted to do a quick demo about the expectation for your texture sketchbook page. By now, you should all have your sketchbook at home, and this is practicing creating implied or simulated texture, meaning obviously if I touch this page, I'm not going to feel spikes or rope or whatever. It's going to feel smooth, but if I look at it with my eyes, it's going to look like I'm going to know how it would feel. So the criteria for this page is that you label the page, texture. You can do whatever kind of lettering you like. You can use color. And then you have 10 different shapes for 10 different textures. I used this to trace the inside and get uniform circles. You can do squares. You can do one big shape with 10 different textures on it. You can be creative, but you do need 10 textures. And 3 of those textures need to be invented, meaning I can't say, oh, that's rope, but it looks like it feels like something if I touch it. So you're going to use pencil for some and ink for some. There's no requirements there, but you should experiment with both. And you should label what they are. So spikes, for example. When you make if it's something like this, well, actually, no matter almost any texture, it's gonna look more realistic if you make that texture coming off of the circle. Scales, you probably don't have to. Beads, you don't have to. Fur, I think, would probably look more realistic if you come off of the shape to make it look more 3D. So when you're shading these in, you also want to consider a light source, just like you did when you shaded your forms. So let's imagine the light's coming down from here. So it's going to be light, medium, dark as I go around that cone. And then I could even put a little bit of a shadow over here. That's going to make it look more 3D. Light, medium, dark. Little shadow. Okay. Light, medium, dark. Now I kind of want these to look like metal. So I'm actually not looking at a picture right now. You guys can absolutely look at somebody else's example if you want. When we're learning, it's okay to kind of copy somebody else's technique. But just admit that that's what you did. Anyway, I'm trying to make more reflections on that. You can always go back with an eraser, of course. Okay, so there's my spikes. I'm going to continue that. Scales. I think I'll use pen. And I'm going to just go ahead and draw the outline of the scales in there. And then once I have that all in, I got to go, okay, where am I going to put my value to make these look like a texture instead of just a pattern? I know where one scale overlaps another scale, it's going to be a little darker. So I'm going to go in there and do some hatching, little small hatching lines. Okay, and already you can see it's starting to look a little more 3D. In between scales. So use your brain and think, where would the shadow be if this were a real, snake or whatever? And put your value there. Oh my gosh, sorry. I'm going to blow this size up a little bit. I'm going to make these scales bigger so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so let me show you that again. Wherever the scales overlap is where it's going to be the darkest. And I'm just doing hatching marks, just like we did with our form shading. Okay, so in that way you will continue and finish all of these. Invented textures are just I mean, I'm just making this up as I go. And I have some dark and I have some light. Okay. Maybe this is just like the texture of like, I don't know, some trees or bushes. Oh, actually, it kind of looks like a reflection in water, doesn't it? Like off in the distance of a painting where you don't need a lot of detail, but you want some visual interest. So that's just an invented texture. But you notice there's dark, medium, and light. Okay, 10 textures, 10 shapes, pen and pencil. That's it.